Okay, this is Steve. It's Labor Day, Monday, September 2016. Welcome from Texas VaporsLife. I've got a review. I have to start this one. I started over, so this one is the SMOK TF-RDTA. It's the one that came out right after the TF RTA, which is, they're a little bit different, but basically the same style of tank. I kind of like this one a little bit better. It just seems to, they upgraded it just a little bit in my opinion. And it doesn't leak at all. It's very easy to build on. This is a rebuildable drippers tank atomizer. They say it gives you the finest taste and the greatest airflow. And I think it said the flavor of dripping with the tank. So, new lock design. That was another thing. Had a new lock design. You can see it right there. It's got a lock and unlock, and you can see it pretty well. So, it's from SMOK. Highly recommended tank, especially for you guys that like to rebuild. The kit includes one TF RDTA tank, 24.5 millimeters, one TF RDTA S2 deck pre-installed, one Allen key screwdriver, one replacement glass tube, one SMOK vape pen, user manual, and spare parts. And it comes with a Kanthal fused Clapton coil. So it's a pretty nice coil. They have started putting those in there. Some of them they put in are stainless steel. I got one tank that they had a fused Clapton that was made out of stainless steel. The other one was, well, the other two were Kanthal. So, and the first try of this video, I was trying to put it in temperature mode, and it kept throwing me back in power mode. So it's not gonna do anything with Kanthal, but it does give really good flavor. And it is the original one. I haven't had this tank very long, and but it is a great little tank. I'm so used to the 24.5 millimeters and bigger that the 22 milliliter or millimeter tanks are just look kind of tiny, and the 19s look, you know, almost like a pen. So anyway, it's got like an 18 millimeter 19 millimeter build port between the posts. They're velocity style deck on it. You can get the S2 or the S4. The S4 is like a clothesline. That's the only way. You put 4 coils, and they stand up on a post, and you put them around the top of it, and you wick through 2 of them and down into the juice channel, and on both sides, and then the other 2, you don't wick them individually, you wick them 2 at a time. So anyway, you know, if you really want to build something that's really hot and really blow on, and a real cloud chucker, and a real hot vape, then get you a G4 deck. I am very happy with the G2 deck, and I don't go anything over 100 watts. It's too hot for me. My lungs don't like it. Maybe if I was 20 again, I'd probably be blowing 200 watt, but maybe I wouldn't. I'm just blowing smoke in the wind at you. I've got it on my Rouleau S 200S, which has been updated to the 3.1 firmware update. So it's now it has 5 functions in TCR function with the stainless steel function, and that's stainless steel. The function that's in the menu for stainless steel is 316L, I believe. No, it may be 316. Anyway, again, Daniel with DJLS Vapes, our labs. The man from Spain. He does some wonderful things for our industry. He checks these things. He takes them apart. He looks at all the boards. He finds out what is good, what's bad, how long everything is, how big everything is. I mean, he does all the really technical work. So if you want to know technical information, Daniel's the man to go to. He's like Phil Basardo, but he just takes it to about 10 levels higher. On his website, which is linked to all of his videos, I should have got it for you, and I will on the next video. He's got a chart of wires. It just says wire, something, just wires, I think. I forget how it's listed, but it's a drop down menu, so you can find it on his website. It's not hard to navigate. And it gives you probably 30 different kinds of wires that we vape on in temperature control. So everything, all the nickels, the NI80, NI200, all the stainless steels, and there's about 6 or 8 types of stainless steel wire. I didn't know that. I didn't know that 317 stainless steel was actually welding wire that they weld stainless steel parts with. So you learn something new every day, and hopefully you'll learn something from me other than just how to talk or how to sit there and listen or watch TV. But maybe I'm a little bit entertaining. I hope so. I hope my videos get a little better. I know they're getting longer-winded. Should stay more on the subject. So I would. Let me have a vape. And I'm vaping some Tutti Frutti. All my juices are do-it-yourself. Nobody sends me juice anymore. Well, never did. I used to do some mixology for for Dreamy Vapes and the Blackstone brand in California, and they're really a good bunch out there. Really great. They helped me a lot. Just had a wildfire again, so it kind of messed that up, and I'm not sure if it was in the paper or not. I know it was, but I know the first one was, and he might not have been able to find it in the paper. I seen him with Lane. But anyway, shout out to you, Amir, and to Mo at vapefab.com. Anyway, back on the subject of my SMOK TF-RDTA. I'm vaping with the wire that it came with, which is a fused Clapton, and it is 0.1 ohms, 0.10 ohms. And I like these rouleaus because, and the Joytech boards. If I'm not mistaken, they're all the same. I think they're Texas Instrument boards. I'm not sure. I'm not into that part of it. But Daniel could tell you. I'm giving Daniel a lot of kudos because I've learned a lot from him. I planned to do this back in 2012, and there was a wildfire, and I got sick, and then we got everything in line again, and then another one happened last year in 2015 and burned shop, business, everything down. So anyway, we're in a new house again, and starting over again, and I'm on medical disability from all this mess. Anyway, I need to keep, this is basically my hobby, and I try to help those of you out there that want to quit smoking the old stinkies. I smelled my clothes after I started vaping back in 2000. I started in 2007 and cheated, and then kept smoking again. Quit smoking for a little while. And I started smoking again, and then I tried to quit smoking, couldn't handle it, so I got a cig light, and smoking in cig lights, and then finally when I got an Ego with the right tank on it, I can't remember what it was, that just barely held me with 36 milligram per milliliter nicotine. So anyway, now I use 3 or 6 depending on what I want, and sometimes none. So I enjoy it. I really do. It tastes good. I like it. There's no reason not to do it. That's vaping at 80 watts. I'll turn it up to, let's turn it up to 90. There's 90. Let's turn it up to 100. We've got we can turn it up to 250, but I don't think I could take it. Okay, there's 100 watts right there, as you can see. And that's 3.16 volts to get the 100 watts out of those triple batteries. Don't like it. It's not that hot. It's just starting to taste singed. So anyway, I'm gonna back it back down to 75. There we go. That's more than enough for me because I kind of chain vape at times, especially when I'm by myself. as you can tell. They really don't. It's still at the same level, the juice level, as when I started. And I've had at least 10, 12 pulls off of it. Anywhere from 70 to 100 watts. So, at 0.1 ohms, it does just a fantastic job. And 75 watts only takes 2.74 volts. Anyway, you can, it pulls more amperage than the little single 75 watt Joytech that I made the interview earlier. But this has the hinged fill port, which I like. It has the, you can see it, these glass. It's got a Delrin bottom, glass drip tip in the middle, and then stainless steel around the outside. And it does an excellent job of keeping that from getting hot. No matter how it gets hot down there around the coils and at the bottom and on the base, it gets warm, but it doesn't get hot at all around the drip tip, and that's just a really good improvement. I would have liked to have seen it with top airflow, true top airflow going down through the coil and back up, like their new Brit tank, their Brit Mega tank, and a bunch of other tanks that they have. Well, they've got a few, but there's a lot of tanks out there that have true, top airflow. I remember the first top airflow tanks were just holes in the drip tip, and that sucked because it just killed your flavor. So they're expanding the chambers, the reduction chambers off of the coil dome inside the tank, and the shorter they are and the bigger around they are, the better they seem to taste. If they're real low wattage, it seems like the shorter they are, and sometimes smaller, not too small, or it mixes your air flow up. But I'm running, this one has 4 probably 1/4 inch by 1 inch air slots, Cyclops style, 4 of them all the way around. So it's plenty of, it's not a tornado, which is just like breathing through a hose, basically. And I will be reviewing it soon too. I know everybody else has done their reviews on that, but I'm making up for reviews from when I wanted to start this. So I'm reviewing everything I've got, and everything I know, everything that other people I know have. So, and everything that SMOK and the other people are sending me, and hopefully I can make this a nice little hobby, something to do, and hopefully vaping will pay for itself. If it can do that, then that'd be great. I don't spend a lot on any of it because I make my juice. It costs a lot to get all your VG, your PG, all your wires, your cotton, your tools, all your flavors. To keep a good stock of flavors, unless you're the one that just likes one flavor, and then you'll get muted on, like I did on vanilla. It was vanilla custard, vanilla ice cream, vanilla everything, and I still love vanilla, but I have to take a break, or it just doesn't taste good. And the one I like is vanilla, or Capella's vanilla custard, but vanilla. Well, I'm stuck for words again. Vanilla cupcake. That's it. Version 1. I don't like version 2. It just doesn't taste like a vanilla cupcake. It has a chemical taste, even after it steeps. But the version 1, man, it's great. Either that or the version 2 bottle I got was old, and I should have sent it back. I don't know. We'll never know. But also learn not to, try to fill it back up, to kind of reduce it. So that's another lesson learned. Leave your juices at the level that they come in. Unless you just live in a really hot house, they don't require a lot of, if it's 70, 75, 76, and not over 80 degrees, and not, cold's not going to hurt it. I understand, I really never have, freezing it doesn't, it seems to mute the flavor because it starts tasting like freezer. We don't want that. But definitely if you've got a freezer, got room in it, and get your nicotine at whatever level. I buy it pure, so I don't have to store a lot of it, because the first time I bought some, I mixed it all up. I mixed up 7 gallons of it, and I had probably 4.5 gallons when the fire, last year wildfire broke out, so 7.5 gallons of 24 milligrams per milliliter, so that went up in smoke, so must have been pretty vapey around here. Actually, the stuff just burns. You can burn it in a diesel vehicle. It's kind of expensive, but you can burn VG because they take all the paraffin, not paraffin, anyway. VG, PG, it's about the same thing. It's just PG is what they use for lung transplants and a lot of medical stuff. Anyway, I'm getting off on a ramble here. The TF RDTA and the TF RTA, I've seen a lot of TF RTAs on flash sales and sales lately. And you can get them for about anywhere from 10 to 15 bucks. I've seen them between 15 bucks is about average, most of them plus your shipping, unless you have a pretty good order. But I would, for all of you experienced or vapors who've been doing it for a while and understand all the basics, principles, and Ohm's law, I would urge you to start getting some stuff and learn how to build. And it's not hard. It is a learning curve with each tank, each new thing, but you'll learn it. And if you like to vape, then it's a way to have, unless you got plenty of money. And then you just buy those coils, left and right, because to keep this same flavor you'd get out of building your own, because I re-wick at least every 2 or 3 days, sometimes daily. Every flavor change, every time it just didn't taste right, and like I say, I think a week goes by and I at least re-wick it, unless they're temperature control. Stainless steel is okay to dry burn when you're re-wicking, but please do not do that with nickel of any kind, in whatever formulation, Ni200, nichrome, any of that, or titanium. Don't dry burn your coils even before you put them in. Just space them out. I've found that spacing them out, using a screw is a real good way to learn how to set your coils at a good distance, because when they're squished in, they get too hot. Like we build microcoils and squish them together. I make sure that they don't touch, and I get a lot better reading out of temperature control. I've learned that. This tank really doesn't get so hot at the bottom that it burns the liquid. I've got a couple that are really high wattage, and they hold a lot of juice, and we found out as an industry that after about 2 milliliters with anything over 30 watts, especially when you're getting over 100 watts, your juice is burnt. So, you know, if you've got a 6 milliliter tank or a 4 milliliter tank, a third to a halfway through it, and it's burnt. So it's not going to taste right. The nicotine's going to be off, everything, because it's been exposed to such high heat. SMOK does a really good job of temperature, some of them. Don't want to name names, but sorry, but Crixus is one of them, and it's a ceramic tank. And I love the ceramic coils for the Atlantis, or the I don't know, for my, I used them in my super tank, and they were the I forget the name of them, but they were one of the first replaceable ceramic coil tanks. I've got 2 of them, and one of them burns just as you can't even get it vaping until you get it up to like 60 or 70 watts, and it tells you not to go over, like, you know, it's not a 100-watt cloud blower. They're not cloud blowers at all, and they're really not that flavorful, to tell you the truth. So I whipped it up and vaped it, you know, a couple of days, and took the cotton out, dry burnt the coil, and put it back in the box. And that was a wasted $35. And they were supposed to be all that. Yeah, the coil will last if you don't bend on it too much for probably 6 months or a year. No problem if you dry burn them at a low wattage, 10, 15 watts. But anyway, like I was saying, you don't want to do that, because the dry burn at any point titanium or nickel, because titanium oxide and nickel oxide is very toxic. It's a carcinogen, and it will kill you. It will give you cancer of the lungs, and it doesn't take long to do it. And if you don't believe me, just anybody that's welded with the stuff in certain projects that didn't wear a oxygen-fed mask. I know a couple of them that are dead because of it. So, just like in the pest control industry, try to heed warnings from old geezers like me that found out the hard way, because I used to not wear a respirator or nothing. And I sure wouldn't be vaping if I thought that there was any bad stuff after we found out some of the things that were in the flavorings, and kind of got that issue straightened out. I have no problem with it, because I did send off, you know, blow through a paper towel and cotton swabs and stuff like that, and send it off for analysis. And there is just there's no very little nicotine if it's a really high nicotine juice. If it's like sub-ohm 6 milligrams or 3 milligrams, all you're getting is water and the essence of whatever you're vaping. You know, other people can smell it. I can't until I come back in the room. But it's a good thing not to do that. Just go ahead and, you know, do everything else, you know, strum the coil, whatever you want to do, but don't heat it up. Don't even heat it up a little bit, because if you got powder on your coils and they're titanium or nickel, get rid of them. Forget temperature control if that's all you can get your hands on, and they don't make stainless steel for your particular mod. Just go ahead and vape it in power mode and be happy with it, and watch your juice levels, and you'll be fine. But please, I don't want to see it cause any harm to anybody, and I don't know why we're even still vaping with nickel or titanium. I guess that, you know, the coil making companies, all the companies that make coils and stuff, still have so much of it. And a lot of people do like temperature control. I love it. You know, it's not that I don't watch the juice, because I do. It's just that I don't have to worry about a dry head. But just as we're on the brink of discovery, here comes the, you know, United States government, along with the United States big tobacco manufacturers and growers, processors, and big pharmaceutical companies, because they can do, you know, the nicotine mixing, they can do the E-CIGS, and the big tobacco people can do all the mod making. And boy, they're doing it. And they're trying to do it to us all without the Vaseline. RKY. I guess Vaseline was a bad thing from back in the 60s anyway. Bad joke. Anyway, we're getting on to the 32-minute video about the tank. Smoke. You do have a good tank here. One thing about the Brit tank, you know, I know it's a smaller form, but I would have loved to have seen the flip top fill ports. I hate the kind of fill ports. The one thing that I've learned, that if you know, if you don't want to make this loosen and leak, just put it there, put just a little bit of pressure on your drip tip and pull in, and it snaps right into place. If you push it in, it's going to wear that hinge out. So you don't want it licking all over the place, especially if you tilt to vape. And most people that do building got out of that habit a long time ago. I mean, you see, that's why you see us leaning over into the tank, or the RDA. Anyway, Smoke, we got another good tank. I'm glad you made it for us. The one thing I think that I'd like to see is just a little bit bigger air holes on this one. But when I go to put this up, if I can get you to see, okay, there it is. Lock, unlock. So what I do is I have it, you have to have it unlocked, and it's got a little bitty tab in the tank. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little, I'll turn it for you. There you go. You see that little bitty thing right there? It's just like a little pin. It tells you if it's open or closed. It's locked right now. Should be unlocked. So it needs some juice, as you see it suck up some, because it has a fill reservoir down here, which is beautiful, and it doesn't leak. So when if I'm vaping and I'm going to set that, you know, mod down and maybe not vape on it a day or two, I never know. I open it, turn it upside down with it open, and let it leak out, and then I lock it, and then I turn it back over, and guess what? it's full again. So that's a really good way to keep your juice from leaking out of this thing, because the cotton does get saturated, and it might leak. I hadn't had it leak, so I hadn't laid them over or anything, but no, I have laid it over a couple times, and it really didn't leak. Not this one, not the RTDA or the RTA. So if you wick them right, and there's several wicking videos out there, and the trick is just to stuff it full of cotton, not too tight, but you don't want it too tight in your coil, but you want enough cotton in there that it will leach up the cotton, but not totally jam up your fill port, your reservoir, or whatever your wicking goes. So I usually cut them about 3/4, because they kind of, after they get wet, they sag a little bit, so they end up filling up the whole thing. But I do fluff it and put both ends in it, and I hadn't had a bit of leaking. So anyway, that's enough words said about that. To smoke, to all you vapors out there, and to all the smokers, come along, join the ride. Try vaping. There's plenty of mouth-to-lung things if you like smoke, the way you smoke a cigarette, if you want to start that way, because when you first start, your lungs are going to kind of, it can choke you up. So especially if you try a sub-on and you try to take a mouth-to-lung draw off of it, it's going to choke you to death, and you won't want nothing to do with it. But if you'll just take it as it was built, and just take it, draw on it like you would a marijuana cigarette, toke it, and it will not burn you. In fact, it's unless you got it too hot, too many watts, and it's very comfortable to do that. So that's what I do. It's telling me I got an atomizer short. So I don't know why they do that, but that is an issue from time to time. Must be something with the pen. I'm not sure. Smoke, that's one for you. It does it on these reloads, and it does it on a lot of other ones. And that's the last 3 tanks you've come out with. Sometimes after you've been vaping at high wattages, you just set it down for a minute, let it cool down, and all of a sudden you've got a check atomizer or no atomizer flashed on the screen. Y'all have the rest of a wonderful holiday, Labor Day, and we'll see you on the next video. It's Steve, Texas VaporsLife. Y'all have a good day.